Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Play On. My name is Candace Barrett.
I'm Ron Mackay.
And this is Pearcey. Sorry I wasn't here last week, folks. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, happy
I
New
missed
Year.
you guys.
Oh, we missed you too, Pearcey. You were very quiet.
I was, and that's unusual for me, as you know.
Yes, we sent out an intervention because we were concerned. We wanted the real Pearcey to stand up. Where was he? Who was he?
Look, he was running around doing kid stuff. I shared with you guys my poor daughter's broken her ankle, so I was dealing with a very sad and morose girl who's got a 7-month rehab.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal on a 15-year-old, but she'll be right. She'll live to fight another day.
Her ankle will be stronger, and I'm sure she'll get back to stepping people on the field very soon.
Yeah, it's normally her breaking other people's ankles, but this time she broke.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
We'll hope for a speedy recovery.
Yes, absolutely.
But did you watch any of the Singapore Sevens for the weekend?
I must admit I haven't watched any footy yet this year, which is hilarious because it is February.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe you'll watch some of the Six Nations or Super Rugby coming up.
I had a memory pop up in my feed there a while back. I think it was last week, of a game I did in Sydney on the 29th of January a few years ago. And I know I've spoken about it before. It was the hottest day in Sydney's recorded history at TG Milner, and I ended up in serious heat stroke territory in Johnny McCarthy's pool. Actually, that's where I did my recovery.
Nice.
Did he charge you for that?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
A nice fancy bottle of Chateau de Chasselet. But no, it's still very hot for footy. We had a cool day yesterday, but otherwise it's been stinking hot out here. I know Sydney hasn't been quite as bad as what the rest of the state has, but
I was talking to my sister yesterday. They're building a house not far from you, Pearcey, as you know, and they were pouring their slab in 42-degree heat.
Yeah, which actually doesn't work. The concrete doesn't cure that hot.
No, so they had to, and they had to keep the concrete wet for a week, and that was a punish in itself. But Menindee, I don't know if you saw Menindee. The thermometer outside Menindee Public School last week hit 56 degrees, and that's Celsius, people. That's not Fahrenheit.
I had an interesting one.
It's crazy.
We had a fairly ugly domestic violence shooting issue out at Lake Kajeliga, which is about 4 hours out here. And I had a police friend who said he needed me to run his son to cricket training because he was out playing hide and seek out at West Wyalong, and he showed me a photo on his dash cam in the police car at 61 degrees out in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing hide and seek, as he called it.
Especially with the police officers, that they're all in their kit and gear. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
Super heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got family out that way, as you know, not far from there. And, toasty.
Toasty and horrible.
Well, stay hydrated, everyone. I thought for the Singapore Sevens, we were just discussing it. I know Sunny Lee was in referee the finals. It was New Zealand versus Australia again. And as we have written down here, Australia versus US, there was a penalty try 3 minutes into the second half. Does anyone want to tell me about that?
That'd be you, Rob.
Yeah, so this was in the women's.
Yeah.
So I think it was the left wing. US has got the ball going down the left wing. The cover defence has come across to prevent the try. And
yes, I did see that one.
And so doing, she's gone high. Was it high? Look at one of those ones that probably just high.
It was like over the back.
Yeah, sort of.
And like slipped.
It was just a little bit ungainly. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't a skyrocket at the head or anything like that, but it was high enough. And because of the circumstances of the game, the consequences of the tackle were quite significant in that was a probable try prevented from being scored? Yes. All right. Well, then we're at penalty try, bang, and then we're at yellow card, bang.
Yeah.
So,
and instead of a sideline conversion, it's a given 2 points.
Absolutely. And a quicker pace as well. So there's basically a 30 seconds lost because there's no shot clock. So big consequences. If it had happened in the middle 40, you're probably at penalty only.
Yeah.
So big escalation in consequence for some very small margin of error in terms of height. So.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of the old hardheads are saying, "Oh, how am I supposed to tackle when I'm coming from behind?" Sometimes you actually just can't. Sometimes the try gets scored.
Yeah, you take the risk of being either nailed in the head by
look,
a leg.
It was just dynamics. Yeah, one player went up a little bit, one player went down a little bit, and then we ended up in the wrong zone. If they'd stayed the way they were, we would have been fine. It would have been just a barrel tackle into touch and line out. But, fine margins.
No, that I did see that. You don't see too many penalty tries in sevens anyway, but I feel like that one, like you said, you're so close to that try area.
Yeah, you say that, Candace. I
haven't seen too many.
I've seen a few, and we made the comment about the fact that I remember when I was doing the Seventh Circuit, sometimes you can give penalty tries a long way out. One-on-one with the fast guy on the slow guy, and they take him out. You can give a 50-meter penalty try.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the slap down's quite common.
Yeah.
So a slap down, as you say, Pearcey, middle of the field with an overlap. Well, there's no cover.
Yep.
Yeah. That's actually quite an easy
You got Johnny Jet Boots outside and they slap down a ball that he otherwise would have probably caught and run the rest of the field. That's a penalty try.
And no sweeper, So
and we actually spoke about the dynamics of awarding that because you look like an idiot running 60 metres under the sticks to go penalty try.
Yeah, maybe do the rugby league style. You point to the spot where the ball was dotted.
Yeah, I love that.
Maybe you got to do that from the 22 just to tick all the boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get the protocols right. So
and then run back to the 60 and then bin them.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of intervals.
It does.
Yeah, it does. A bit of Malcolm work. But most players will be heading off anyway. They know. It's like, okay. Yeah, you got me. Fair fickle. There's nowhere to hide in the sevens field for that sort of stuff.
No, it's great to see the Seven Series, and we're sharing that our friend Ella's on tour with them, but barring some misfortune, probably won't do any finals because the Aussie girls are pretty strong again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I know Ella did, I think, was it New Zealand versus Great Britain? That was a really great match to watch. There was one point where it was just like each player was going end to end, but not making a try yet. So Ella, bless her, had to keep on going like this.
I don't know whether it's appropriate to mention that Ella's obviously had a good off-season training. She's looking strong.
Yeah. She's been working hard. She's been working really hard. That's the result of effort, right? You put the effort in, you get the outcome. So, rich rewards for her. Well done. So that match you talked about.
Speedy work.
She did. New Zealand versus Great Britain women's game, 64-0.
Yeah, wow.
In 14 minutes. So, talk about crazy back and forth. That was, interval training.
Can we reflect on that at the home nations? You've combined into one team instead of four, and you're still crap.
Yeah. Well, rugby teams are in the home nations. It's just a mess, isn't it? Because you've got what they do with the Olympics. You've got the British and Irish Lions. You've got the Six Nations. It's like, hang on, guys. 1 minute you're trying to kill each other. The next minute you're playing in the same team.
Yeah, and the sevens programs, we've spoken about this last year. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if how many players they can select from, if it's just a separate sevens, because
it might be the amateurs.
UK Prem is going in and soon there'll be Six Nations. So maybe some of their older, more experienced sevens players are looking to just maybe focus on, something else.
Yeah, and
fair
surely
point.
that doesn't bode well for when they actually do ramp it up for an Olympic program or something such like. That's not going to bode well for them.
Well, I think in the Olympics they play as GB, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So, at what point do they bring those guys into the World Rugby Sevens circuit? This clearly isn't that team.
No, it's a bit.
Lots of new faces, lots of younger gals in there.
One less team we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Has been competitive.
Yes, please. Keep being shit. That's fine.
Yeah, that's right. We're happy with that. So 64-0. So what's the highest score you refereed in sevens? So mine, I put my hand up. It was Crescent Head Sevens a few years ago. It was 71-0 in February in Crescent Head. It was hot and there was a lot of running.
Is this where I say, I don't know or care because I don't keep score?
Well, I wasn't
don't really
keeping
remember
score
keeping
either.
Score in sevens.
But I tell you, it was a memorable day. And,
set up camp in goal.
Well, there was a kickoff that goes into the in goal. So everyone's sitting there around going, okay, he's going to tap it down, get a free kick on halfway. No. The 110-meter banana run to score at the other end. It's like, oh, come on, dude.
I had to run back and tap it anyway. It's just easier this way.
Well, yeah, that's right. Come on, give us a break. And take the 30 seconds of the conversion. No.
No.
So
I've had times where, like, in the UK, we have, like, the little papers to, like, write the score sheet, and that's your responsibility as the referee, especially during sevens tournaments, to go after with the score sheet. And sometimes, like you said, Rob, there's so many like, I don't have enough space to put the rest of it. So I'm like, they've won. I don't really listen.
I refed a touch footy tournament a couple of weeks back, and they've got some squares you mark off the tries, and I did run out of squares in a touch footy game recently. It was over 25-0 in a 20-minute game. It was epic.
Did the other team not turn up?
Not really.
God, that's terrible.
Any other rugby news that we have up?
Well, just a quick piece on match official news. So the International Rugby match officials just had their AGM.
Oh.
So they've retained most of their committee positions, management committee positions, with a couple of changes. So Mark Egan's the chairman. Wayne Barnes is the retired referee representative. So he's the Triple R. Angus Gardner is the men's 15s representative. I've heard of him. Mike Adamson is the TMO rep. They're all renewed for 2 years. Nick Hogan and Maria Latos continue in their role for men's and women's sevens. Holly Davidson has completed her term as women's 15s representative. So bravo to her. And she's been replaced by friend of the pod, drum roll please, Maggie Coggerall.
Yay! Wow, congrats, Maggie. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So some very familiar faces, very famous ones there, obviously. Barnesy, Gus, our very own Gus, Mike Adamson, who was here last year, Nick Hogan and Maria, who we've seen on the 7th Circuit regularly, Holly and Maggie. So I think that's a great organisation because it's new. It's only been going a couple of years. And that gives
who doesn't love a good committee?
Well, that's right. And imagine the stories they tell. Yeah, we love a committee. And I think it's important they've got a seat at the table. And this is their voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really important to acknowledge that. So well done.
Go team. Rob, tell us about your roving reportering.
Yeah, you were during the schedule announcement.
I was roving reportering. And that's really hard to say. And more Triple R's. So yes, the Rugby World Cup 2027 men's schedule was announced earlier this week, and each of the cities that host had an announcement. And of course, the key piece was in Sydney because Sydney's hosting the finals, the semi-finals, and a whole bunch of other games as well. So naturally enough, that means you send John Eales and Joseph Suaalii up the Harbour Bridge with none other than William Webb Ellis himself.
And the trophy all tied up.
William is the trophy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trophy. So, and the only person I saw hold the trophy the whole time was nobody, because he's the only one who's entitled to hold it. Because if you haven't earned the right to hold it, you can't touch it. So Harry Wilson was in attendance, Brett Robinson, Phil Waugh,
Rob Mackay.
Yeah, John Hills. It was a good rollout. We had 24 kids representing the nations that are playing. Each had a flag. They went up the bridge as well. We had the Hills hoist set up in front of the harbour and the bridge and the Opera House, and each jersey had a game on the back of it.
And haven't we already seen some cracking head-to-heads announced?
Oh, absolutely.
None more so than us versus the Bros.
Yeah, so that's our second match. So our first match, we opened in Perth against Hong Kong, China, who are debuting at the World Cup. And a lot of people are a bit iffy about that. I understand why they might be, but I think on balance it makes sense because whilst Australia and New Zealand is your blockbuster opener, it could also become a bit of a fizzler if it goes the wrong way, right? So you've got to build into it for both teams because it's a marquee game and you want it at your biggest stadium. And your biggest stadium is going to be Stadium Australia at 82,000. The Victorians missed a trick. They could have had the MCG, but they made all sorts of excuses. Dog ate my homework, left my hat at home. The Americans are coming to play a game of gridiron here. They'll need the MCG. It's like,
Yeah, and the
whatever.
MCG's had some serious load issues over the last few years. The pitch has not necessarily been rugby ready. So I get that.
Yeah, the Victorian government don't. Yeah, they're home of sport. Well, maybe not.
I've been at MCG for a couple of big test matches, and it's not a great rugby ground. It's a great facility, great cauldron for sport, but it's not a great rugby cauldron in my opinion.
No,
100,000 people is great, but when
You're probably
50,000 of
looking
them
at the
are 200
TVs
metres from the
more.
field, yeah.
Look, I think if I was going to do the MCG again for rugby, I'd have the non-official side of the field with seats, slightly tiered seating, because you could fit another probably 10,000 in there, and that gives you the immediacy to the game. But look, moot point, they're not doing it, so
Stadium Australia it is.
Stadium Australia it is, and that's the second game, and that's going to be massive. Well, interestingly for me, the very final game of the pool stages is South Africa. South Africa playing their final pool game against Romania.
I'm going to put it out there that I reckon some second stringer Springbok winger who may only get that game as his contribution to the World Cup could rack up 10 tries.
Or
have you not seen there's a second rower that's South African in the UK Prem who's like 6'7" and weighs something ridiculous, and he's just smashing through everyone. I was like, you're going to get selected for a random game.
Because by then, South Africa will know where the pool standings are for everyone else. And depending on where it sits, they will meet either New Zealand or Australia in a quarter.
So they'll need to win that game to play Australia because in all likelihood, New Zealand will finish in front of us.
Probably.
I'm calling it.
Or if anyone wants to go to Adelaide and watch Fiji spank Canada, let me know because it's $20 tickets. So I'm going to be there.
And that's, for me, looking through the fixtures, that is the highlight. Which random inconsequential game are we going to go for? And more importantly, will we support random inconsequential team A or B?
So I'm looking forward to those matches.
Split
That's what I'm going to go to.
Get a split jersey, one of each, because rugby is the winner on the day. Newcastle's got a couple of cracking games. Fiji, Spain. I reckon that'll be an absolute doozy. Japan, Samoa.
I saw Spain, Uruguay somewhere. That's in Sydney, I think. I'm going to that one, and I'm going to be the only English-speaking person in the stadium.
I'm sure you'll learn a few words. Pearcey, you'll be fine.
Italy and Georgia in Newcastle. I mean,
some doozies.
Scotland and Portugal, that's in Brisbane. But, there's some absolute
And look,
crackers.
Last time we had a World Cup, I got along to a lot of those games.
Yeah,
they are awesome fun.
Yeah, they're great fun. Absolutely.
I was on Team Georgia.
We need to start getting some of our jerseys. Dude, I want to dress up for some of these ones. I thought it'd be quite fun.
I think we should call it early. Play on podcast road trips.
Yeah. Well, there'll definitely be some play on action at that time. Let me assure you.
Live feeds.
Live feeds. Well, we may have the technology. You just never know. Watch this space. So that was the Rugby World Cup schedule. So really important for listeners, if you want to buy tickets, you have to pre-register. And you've got to pre-register in the next 10 days or so.
Yep.
So get online. We'll put a link in.
Pre-registration done.
Yep, me too. So
pretty sure I've spent my birthday and Christmas presents for the next 2 years.
That's right. Children's inheritance gone.
On to more rugby. So we have the HSBC Sevens in Perth this weekend. So take a look at that. If you're not watching the Six Nations, you can watch some Perth Sevens. So that will be a fun weekend. And then I wanted to highlight there's some milestone moments for match officials in the UK. So
Jeez, you're really bringing the alliteration today, guys.
Thank
milestone
you.
moments for MOs.
Yeah.
Triple R, double R.
There was 1,000 new referees that completed the Ready to Ref course with the RFU referees. And I feel like that's a great milestone. So congrats to them to having all those new referees that have completed the course and hopefully wanting to take on refereeing into the season for them there. So, yeah.
I know some of our guys over here are watching very closely to see how that goes because we are trying to fight the same problem.
Yeah, and the challenge now becomes you got 1,000 people at the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
You've got to get them through that funnel onto the field and keep them on the field, and that's That's the hardest part because we usually get them coming in the top of the funnel without too much trouble, but we lose them.
I like the flywheel approach
way.
rather than a funnel. Just going to try and push them down into the centre. They're now good to go on the community footy and just keep rinsing and repeating. And we can push some of them into the middle of the flywheel, do some high-level stuff. But they're there now. They can do it, and they can do it for forever, really. They're not lost resources. Just got to keep them on the wheel.
Yeah, keep them engaged.
The funnel implies that
well.
there's a bit of a choke point. They're now there. Just engagement. Yeah, you're right, Candace. The engagement bit's the hard bit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. When I was new, they always made sure that they had like monthly meetings, making sure we got free food, different things, and it didn't take up most of your evening. You're able to like talk to people if you're having issues. They gave you mentors if you were really struggling and needed someone to talk to. Hopefully they have, like you said, Pearcey, the resources to maintain those referees. But yeah, let's watch closely. Probably the main feature of this podcast would be about some of the law innovations in the Super Rugby for 2026. And I'm really excited about this stuff. There's things with TMOs. There's better development when it comes to quick taps as well. But yeah, I think we should just sort of crack in and get through them.
And I really like the overarching philosophy behind it. To champion innovation to reduce stoppages, promote positive play, and simplify officiating.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
What can we do to get more footy?
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
What I didn't put in there is making to improve the product overall. Whether we like it or not, it's a product.
Yeah.
And there has been a lot of feedback from the rugby community about what they want to see, and that's fed into this process. So there's a shape of the game committee that drives this, and that's got coaches, players, and match officials on it. So,
and at the end of the day, it relies on the teams and the team management buying into that approach. And I think so far, everything I was seeing, they've once again done a good job of getting everyone at the table, getting everyone's opinion, getting everyone ready to go, pushing that message out there. Now it's time to see if the players and the teams buy into that, because at the end of the day, referees can sit there and point them in the right direction wherever they don't, but it relies on them buying in.
100%. And they've bought in so far. So now the rubber hits the road, we get to see it. In terms of process, it's essentially a closed trial. So Super Rugby works with World Rugby to go through the process. World Rugby love it to be tracked and measured so they can analyse it and work out if there are any other flow-on effects for other parts of the game. So, for example, the 50-22 that came out of Australian rugby, Scott Johnson, I think, actually suggested that about 5 years ago, and that's now become a thing in rugby globally. So,
and the crowd understand it, and they see it, and they get so excited. So
I'd like to track how many of the proposed changes came from the great and weird brain of Scott Johnson.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a few.
I've not come across a deeper thinker on the game and probably a more renegade way about the laws. So this is the way we've always done it. So
yeah,
I love it.
And look, there's a school of thought that says stop tinkering, just let it play out. But there's another school of thought that says we're too slow to adjust. So the sweet spot's somewhere in the middle. It's worth noting that other jurisdictions do things like this as well. I mean, the French have the carte orange, which is essentially a closed trial as well. So yes, we might come to the French a little bit later. What I want to do is I want to run through the various changes, and I want you to, once we're finished talking about it, give me a traffic light rating. So red, amber, or green for what you think of it. So let's go to the top. So the first one is TMO referrals are driven by the on-field team. So the ref drives the TMO.
Green.
Pearcey?
Too early?
I noticed there might have been a micro nanosecond of hesitation there.
We did this a bit last year. You did see the on-field guys driving it more last year, and this is just a step towards that further. And in my opinion, that worked really well. It's the on-field guy that's got to own it.
Unless they miss something really clear. And
but if they do, then the TMO can come in and show them, and then they own it. I think the only possible hitch here, and we saw it in one game in the US. It was the Soldiers Field game. Tech's got to be up to it.
Well, that's a different competition entirely under
Yeah,
different
but
protocols.
in terms of process, at Soldiers Field, the ref wanted to look at some and they couldn't do it. So the tech expectations have got to be up to speed as well. And I'm sure our broadcasters are on board with that.
Yeah, so the TMO will only instigate a referral if the on-field match officials have missed either a serious piece of foul play, which is yellow card level or above, or a clear and obvious infringement leading to a try, which is basically as per the current TMO protocol. So some of the stuff we're seeing here has been used before, but this just got a little bit more emphasis or nuance to it. So, and the referee can also engage the TMO to assist with an incident they've identified, but the referee will still drive it. So, yeah, that's a win. I'm agreeing on that as well, and I think the rugby public will love that.
The thing I love about it is actually in the marketing of it. Your on-field referee becomes front of house. They become the salesperson for each of the decisions. We don't have to listen to some rando sitting in a shed. It's the guy we've been listening to for the rest of the 80 minutes who's able to sell that decision.
And it's the flow of the game as well. So I feel, I think it works out great.
Good word, Candace. Flow is really important. It's something that everyone's trying to work on, get the flow right. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's fast flow, but it just means the game has something happening as opposed to dead time. I mean, dead time has different definitions for different people. I mean, setting up a scrum for me isn't dead time. That's actually part of the flow of the game. A prop redoing his bootlaces for the 18th time or a back doing his hair and makeup, that is definitely dead time. We want to get rid of that. So, all right, so 3 green lights I'm seeing on that one. All right, the next one is 50-22 modification. The 50-22 as it stands at the moment is a little complex in that it happens from your own half, but the ball has to have arrived there by a certain method.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if you kick from your own half, doesn't matter how you got it there, apart from a kick-off or a restart, then 50-22 is on. And I have to say, from a match official point of view, I'm green on that as well, because sometimes it's actually really hard to know if the ball's been taken back or if they're in the right part of the field because of the line marking, the people in the way. Was it a tackle, ruck?
Taken back in. Or
I think I'm
whatever.
agreeing on this one for 2 reasons. One, I think as a referee, the last thing you want to be doing is trying to remember if it's on or not. And you don't have to. If the kicker is behind the line, it's a 50-22. So that clarifies the referee process. And I don't think the downside of them passing back. This is a 28-meter gain. It's not a huge gain. If you're passing back 10 meters to gain what will then only be 18 meters, it's not the big tactical win that it could be. I don't think so. I'm okay with this. I think it's a really good one, and it does make the referee's job clearer and easier.
Absolutely. It makes it easier for match officials. I think it's easier for the viewing public to understand, because sometimes we have, I was kicked from the inside. Oh, no, I was taken back. Well, what? So absolute clarity. In terms of unintended consequences, I think it's going to make it interesting how the defending or non-possessing team manage their space. So that potentially gives us...
The pass-back time lets the fullback adjust. Like they do have that couple of maybe not a couple of seconds, but they do have that moment to adjust.
They do, but at the same time, it also gives opportunity for using the ball, because you might do a faux 50-22, put someone in the pocket, and then spin the ball, because you've got a winger and 2 of your back 3 are back, guarding each corner. You've got space to play with.
I like it. So, I think the unintended consequences are going to be good, potentially. The risk of them being bad is low.
For any of those pillars, just watch out if they're having those players intentionally being in front of I guess the fullback wanting to kick and everything as well, not giving that defense a chance to charge down or tackle. So I'm not full green. I think it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm more like a...
Okay. You're an amber, are you?
I'm an amber.
Amber has the answer. Okay, so 2 greens and an amber.
I like ball more in hand than kicking it away. So, anyway.
Well, I actually think we'll get ball in hand too, because it'll give us more options for space. So, all right, no worries. 2 greens and an amber. All right, next one. And this one, I think, is another one that will have lots of people talking. With a penalty try, you don't have to give out a yellow card. You don't have to. So it's gone from must to may, if that makes sense.
Can I say I am a very solid green on this, but some of our less intelligent referees are going to really struggle.
I think they're
As in,
if they go through the right process to get the right outcome, but I feel like there'll be situations where there'll be lots of upsets. I feel like people will find
Never used to be mandated. This is how it used to be, and it was so much conjecture. And your Walshies this world used to manage them onto the field, and your strict guys used to manage them off the field, and we will get that discrepancy. So I really like it in theory. In practice, I'm an amber on this one.
I'm also an amber.
Yeah, it's the application. I'm going to go green, but I think the consistency will be the challenge.
Yeah,
because we'll have different outcomes for potentially the same thing, and the nuance on that will be lost. So, for example, we might have someone who gets binned because there's a penalty try, not because it's a penalty try, but because they're on a final warning.
Yep. And as long as it's communicated well, our example from the Singapore Sevens is a really good one. That's not really a yellow anywhere else in the field except for in the act of scoring a try. So, in my opinion, that's not really a yellow. So that's a really good example that we don't need to bin that person. That is the unnecessary double whammy that we can avoid here.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I think we'll see it at scrum time too, which is sort of what we've had as a protocol anyway, because which victim do you pick in the scrum who's...
I remember I was sitting in the Super Rugby meeting where they said, oh, no, it's a yellow card. Someone's got to go. And really? You want us there's 9 guys each side here that we could be going for. You want us to pick one, even though that we're apportioning blame, based on these things. We're only seeing one side of the operation. Like it really doesn't feel right binning a tight end for that.
Yeah. So, if an incident meets the yellow card threshold anyway, then it's an easy sell.
Yeah.
You're going to PT and you're going to yellow card. So that's the easy part of it. It's the rest of it that will be a challenge. And I would imagine, given that they're constantly going through feedback loops on this, they'll be reviewing regularly. Because we know they will. They'll review after every week and go, we probably didn't get that one right. Yes, that's a good example. How about this one? So we'll see that evolve during the season. And I reckon, like most things that we see trial, the first couple of weeks, sometimes a bit, and by the end of the season, it's running like a well-oiled machine. So
beautiful. How can I say I like the next one?
Yeah, it's the quick tap one. That's one of my favorite ones.
So the widening the scope to enable them, widen the tabletop, 1 meter each side of the mark, i.e. a 2 meter wide channel anywhere behind the mark. I think there's 2 things that we're going to have to be aware of. Aware that it will happen. We as referees have to look wider or step back. The thing I suspect we will be enforcing here is the quality of the tap itself. You're allowed to take it in a wider zone. You still got to do it right.
Yeah.
Must release the ball. Must lead your hands.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the go-to for the MOs in this, isn't it? Watch the ball.
Yeah.
You just got to watch the ball, because it's going to be, the 9 who likes to go quickly, your Tate McDermott, your Jake Gordon, they will use this big time, and they'll be looking for some slow forwards to run into, run round, run through, run behind.
Yeah.
So you've got to be watching the ball and know where your 2 meter corridor is to police.
And I think all the halfbacks will be doing tap practice.
Absolutely.
Or the referees need to point on where the mark is so that they know where their little channel zone is as well.
And there's a way around that. Point after where he took it.
Bring it back.
But and in all seriousness, what's wrong with that? They've gone and got the ball. They're coming back, and they've gained no advantage. Play on. What we don't want is them gaining an advantage, taking it in front of the scrum. That's the one. The quick take from the scrum. That's the one that they get away with.
Well, the other one is where the referees might be standing in, channel 2, channel 1.5. The ball's come near them, and the penalty's actually at the breakdown.
Yeah.
And the 9 takes a tap at the referee. No, it's not on me. It's over there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awareness for the player, but it gives us a bit more wriggle room on, just make an effort. If they sort of make an effort, you're probably going to let them play. But remember, this is Super Rugby only. It's not community.
Yeah.
So,
and if they've taken the 5 steps to the referee instead of the 2 steps to the breakdown, once again, that's not gaining an advantage from it. So we let them go.
Well, it might if you're coming infield, for example, or going close to something. Yeah. So anyway, look, I think that 2 meter corridor.
I'm a green, hard green on this one.
Yeah. I'm a green.
I am too.
I'm excited to see what the players do and what trick plays they can throw out there. that's exciting. Next one, is there more free kick options to replace some of set piece options with free kick options?
Okay, so there's a few things here that we've got to keep an eye on, which makes life interesting. So accidental offside is currently a scrum. That's now going to be a free kick. That's just to take a scrum option out of play and to keep the game moving. I think on the one hand, the scrum purists will be a bit upset by this, and I can understand that because we don't want to kill the scrum. That's a great part of our game. A good scrum, well contested, is a thing of beauty. So I'm not sure about this example. I'm amber on this one because I do like a good scrum. The flip side is it's another quick free kick, so it will keep the game going.
This feels like 2007 to me, and I'm all green for that.
Refresh my memory, Pearcey, 2007.
Experimental law variations where we turned all penalties into free kicks and we just had tap and go and tap and go and tap and go.
Yeah.
I don't think we had scrums in 2007.
The not straight line out throw is also a free kick. That's not new. We've had that previously. So,
yep.
But the one I do like, and I like this a lot, is the ending of a ruck. And so there's some nuance in this, but this is one I think the rugby public will love, and I think this will certainly get the game flowing and create some other issues in a good way. So when the ball has been clearly won by the team at the ruck and is available to be played, the referee calls use it. Okay, that hasn't changed. But at that point, no further players from the team in possession can join the ruck. That is massive.
Yes.
Because that stops our caterpillars.
That weird, that's saying stops the caterpillar thing.
So that means the 9 rolling the ball back, taking a very long 5 seconds and taking it a long way back.
This is my greenest of them all.
Yeah.
I do think it's also got the potential for the most
here. Very bright green.
Potential for the most unintended consequences, though.
I agree.
I think teams will be rethinking their strategy on these now.
100%.
And I suspect rather than a halfback, there'll be a pick and go to set up another ruck that they will then get a lot of people in while it's being contested. If they want a clearing kick, I think we'll have 2 rucks instead of 1 there.
Possibly. So
and would that be a free kick? Would that be a free kick if they put too many people in?
It'd be a second
We're still in the free kick realm.
So we saw this in the trial on the weekend between the Tars and the Reds. Nick Berry penalised, I think it was the Tars, because the first guy arrived about the same time as he called use it, and then another guy latched on. And he went, nah, first guy was marginal, second guy definitely late. That's a free kick, back you go. So it's a very clear sanction. The picture will be very clear to the referee. Use it, you watch what the team in possession is doing. So if you're going to do a box kick, you got limited time and the 9's got less space. So maybe they won't kick. Maybe they'll actually do something else because they'll also have fewer forwards, to your point, Pearcey, in the breakdown. So you can either do another pick and drive or something else. You might put a grubber through instead. I don't know. But I think it's going to, as you say, I think it's going to change the shape of the game a little bit. I'm really looking forward to it. So I do like that.
And I think that sort of links, you put a law that we have already about a law 15.17. Was that sort of linked with that one? So when you say use it, you have a period of time, aka the 5 seconds to use it. So.
Yeah, and it's less protection for the halfback essentially because they're closer to the defence. The pillars will have a potentially even bigger role to play, but that potentially creates opportunity for a mismatch. You might bring a couple of backs in on the pillars and try and get through fast on slow. So a little guy with fast feet, bang, through the pillar.
Bang.
Be interesting to see, right? So we're at 3 greens on that, are we?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm a neon green.
You're a neon green. Okay, so bright greens on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is referee microphone broadcast in the stadium for Timo.
And some stadiums are already doing this. I think this is bringing them all to one level. So I'm a green on this one, and that's only for key decisions. So try scoring, foul play, yellow cards for cynical play when the red card is upgraded by the TMO, those sorts of things. That I think that sells it better for the in-ground.
So we all know what's happening.
We do have a little bit of a disparity between some games when they're not doing that live feed in the stadium. It's been less enjoyable in ground.
And I'm being really confused. I'm like, what happened there? Plus, if you're drinking, having some food, you need something loud to remind you of like what happened.
And Pearcey, you said it, the key decisions are broadcast. So the referee will signal CMO, and that's the point at which they'll have a chat. And key decisions are defined as the four things that you said: try scoring, foul play, cynical play, yellow card, 20-minute red card upgrade. So that's when we'll hear the referee tell us what's happening. I think that's a good transparency piece.
I think so as well.
So that will help educate our viewers.
I would prefer if the referees had like what the NFL referees have, where they just have a little switch on so they can speak loudly to everyone and they can switch it off. I think I would like that. So
the referee fiddles with his fanny pack.
Yeah, and there's just a little flick. They just flick a switch on and they say what they need to say.
I'm green on fanny packs as well.
Yeah. If we didn't have the little square already for the mouth guard thing and then have a switch here.
Big solid neon green on referees wearing fanny packs.
Yeah. Oh, man. Potential for disaster.
Well, if we're going red, yellow, orange, brown, black, blue cards.
Yeah, you need something.
You got to have somewhere to keep them.
Yeah, your extra
like a Batman
whistle.
Utility belt.
Quick to the back cave, Robin.
Quick to the blue brown card.
So, slide down the greasy pole one more time. What I think this will do, though, is it will put our match officials in the spotlight even more. So for those who want to neutralise and decharacterise match officials, this probably ain't for you, because we're going to see the referee driving the bus even more. I don't mind that, because I think that's part of our recurring theme of making the referees human and bringing them into the game to help everyone else understand how it works.
Yep.
So
hard green for me.
Hard green for me. There's been some interesting feedback. I don't know if you've seen it around the world. So there were some comments that came out of France.
Classic.
Mathieu Reynal, who we may or may not remember, did a radio interview on Sud Radio, and he was blowing up Royale about the Southern Hemisphere dictating to the North and the danger to the game and so on and so forth.
I did love Warry's response.
Oh, I loved it too. So, yes, the Phil War did respond, alluding to the irony of him now arguing against speeding up rugby. So for those who don't recall, Monsieur Reynal was the referee in the Bledisloe a few years ago in Melbourne who sanctioned the Wallabies for being too slow to take a free kick. So, yes.
Mathieu Reynal, go away, shut up.
It's a funny old world sometimes, isn't it?
Thank you, Warry. Put him in his spot. What else did we have? We had, I love this, Super Point, not Golden Point, but same concept.
Yeah, it's essentially Golden Point.
Woo, Super Point.
I got to say, I'm an amber on this. I don't mind a draw in rugby. And I can tell you the competition administrators don't mind a draw. It does actually, quite often, it means that your finishing positions are clearer. You don't have what we're going to talk about next in terms of highest ranking losing teams. You got very clearly delineated positions on the table when there are draws. That's one thing it does do.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I do remember during the COVID era, there was a match between the Rebels and can't remember who the other team was. It wasn't the Tars, I don't think.
It was Brums. I know the one you're talking about.
At Brookvale Oval, and they went to extra time, and they played 10 minutes each way of extra time, and it was a kick fest because no one wanted to be in their half.
Yeah. I don't think rugby is a great product for Golden Points. I think the teams that are tired can kill a game and keep it at a draw. I don't think this is a great fit for our game, in my opinion, but look, I'm interested to see what it looks like. I'm an amber.
We had one last year, I think, that went to
amber.
extra time, and it was okay. I didn't mind it.
And the teams, that was the Waratahs as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Waratahs Force,
from
maybe?
last year? Yeah.
I think when the teams do it the right way and they're hungry for a win, it can be fantastic, but that's not what happens quite often. The teams are fatigued and have no resources left.
Well, that's the interesting part. Fatigue is a major play, and you don't reset your subs. So I think someone will score. And look, at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a microcosm of what we want. We want more fatigue in the game.
I don't like that the subs don't reset. I think that's a mistake that they'll adjust. I'm interested here reading that one of the things is that the first try scorer in regular time chooses the restart, so they win the extra time toss. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but I'd rather toss a bat. It's heels or flats.
Or just do it with how sevens do it. Let the coaches do it.
Yeah, toss it. Yeah. So that one's a watching brief. How many of those we get, if any, I don't know. I don't mind the fact that the subs can't be reset because that creates space and fatigue, and that's okay, because we often talk about reducing the number of subs on the bench anyway to open up the game and create space. So this sort of does it in a different way. Well, creates an opportunity to see how that works. So I'll give it a green.
Okay, there we go.
And the final one, and I'm upfront with this. This is a massive green for me. So in the finals, the highest ranked losing team from the qualifying finals goes to the next round as the 4th seed. And that is the way it should be. Got it wrong last year in that the Chiefs kept their privileges despite losing. And I think that had a material impact on the results. So I think if you've lost a finals match and you're lucky enough to still be in the race, you go to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So well done.
There you go.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Super smart. Green. So we're mostly green. Some ambers
green
against the elements mainly, but mostly green. So I'll be watching with interest. I haven't seen this, so the second we get offline, I'm going to be Googling mass Welsh rugby brawl.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram.
Tell me about that one, Candace.
So Swansea University versus Cardiff match. Adam Jones was the referee. We're talking about 78 minutes
of course
into
he was.
the game.
Adam Jones was the referee. There was also an Adam Jones on the sideline, and Adam Jones was the referee coach in the stands.
And Adam Williams was one of the offenders. And
yeah, pretty much. How are you going to write up that report? Who knows?
Yeah,
Adam
the referee
Davis
team,
was
Jones, and Jones.
Yeah.
So, imagine being on the disciplinary people in Wales. Anyway.
So we had a high tackle on a Cardiff player.
And I think what happened was the crowd reacted, but because of the proximity, that's where everything got heated. So there was beer being thrown, and then the spectators were shouting
shame on
at
those
them,
throwing beer.
which then probably reacted. And then because of the proximity, they all just started going for each other.
Are we still doing traffic light reporting? Because on those spectators that threw your beer is for drinking. That is a red light.
Yeah, it's such a waste.
Drink your beer. Don't throw it at the players.
No, that's right.
Such a waste.
And look, I just like to say there's obviously a lot of tension in Welsh rugby generally at the moment. And I can see why the emotions might be a bit high. Absolutely. They've got all sorts of issues, and this is another example of it, right? So don't waste the beer. Play the footy.
How many times? 18 times.
So 18 times the referee was blowing its whistle to stop it. He then had to go to the players and coaches that were there to say that he's abandoning the match, which I don't blame him for, because one, it's 78 minutes. By the time you've been trying to get them to control, is probably past 80 minutes anyway.
I didn't stop the clock when you started doing this.
Yeah, you're wasting your own time. And there was a clear winner anyway. So Cardiff ended up winning that 29-18. But I don't know. I feel like this happens in community level rugby, happens in the country, happens in international. And I still feel like there's not really strong sanctions, or it's really difficult as a referee to try to control those types of people unless you have cameras.
As punishment for this, Wales won't be winning any games in the next World Cup.
Well, they have a pretty okay pool, so let's see how they go.
They do. They've got a great pool.
Yeah.
They won't win any matches. They're shit.
They're not known for their swimming, the Welsh, so they probably won't get out of the pool.
But yeah, I feel like that referee handled it very well, but that's all you can really do, is just keep on blowing your whistle until someone...
I'd love to talk to blowing the whistle. I think that's really the only thing we've got. Like, don't go in there and wait in and grab players, but go and stand really close to them and kind of blow their eardrums out with your whistle. That does get people to stop sometimes, and That's the only tool that I would encourage you to use in those situations. I have mistakenly waded in, tried to pull people apart, and that's a bad idea as a referee.
You can probably do that with kids, but not adults. So, the kids you can get in, they're shorter. You can get in the middle of them, just sort of separate them.
It's a size thing. I'm a big enough guy. I can do it with some small adults and
I'm staying far away.
Speaking of big guys. Speaking of big guys, we're up the coast on the weekend, and my daughter tapped me on the shoulder and said, Dad, that's Latrell Mitchell. And we went over and said good day to Latrell. She got a photo with him, and it's not often I feel small next to someone. Holy smokes, he's a big human. And can I say, Latrell, thank you so much. You were one of the most delightful human beings to my daughter, who was wandering around pretty heartbroken with a broken leg, and cannot speak highly enough of him. Great work.
Yeah.
That's a great little interaction.
Work, serious superstar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
nice,
huge.
busy.
Holy shit, he's looking fit.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
because I think he's one of those yo-yo players.
He will dominate 2026 if he can stay on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you guys the photo because
please do. Alrighty, guys, we're quite close to the end. Do we have time to do a rapid fire appointments?
Absolutely. We have to do appointments because there is a rather large tournament starting this weekend. It's known as the Rugby World Cup Repechage, and it's held in the Northern Hemisphere between the home nations and France.
I'm with you now.
There goes
we used to call it the Six Nations.
Six Nations.
Rugby World Cup Repechage, yes.
Send all your email complaints to Candace.
Please, so, on socials, or just not. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. So, yes, the Six Nations men's version kicks off this weekend. As ever, it's going to take up a lot of oxygen in the Northern Hemisphere and a bit down here as well. And I understand that because it is a major tournament, all joking aside. And there's been a lot of people getting excited about this. And we're actually in the ramp up to the World Cup now because there's only one more Six Nations after this before the next World Cup. So we're in that part of the cycle where we're starting to see teams getting ready for how they're going to play in Australia in a little while's time. There's most teams have only got 16 or 17 tests ahead of them before they land in a World Cup process. So, this is important for lots of reasons. A, the Six Nations, and B, ramping up for your World Cup, and equally so for the match officials.
And for the referees, you're 5 tests from now. Really, that's a full season for most of them. 5 tests from now, you're in the World Cup. So
that's
sharpen
right.
that pencil.
100%,
not many games.
Pearcey. Because the match officials don't get nearly as many tests as the players. So, if you're getting a test 1 and 3, as you say, Pearcey, you've got 5 tests to get it right. So
get your portfolio
there'll be lots of scrutiny here
up in par.
for everyone. So the first one, and heads up, it's Thursday French time. So Friday morning here. So this will probably be run and won by the time the pod drops. So it'll be tight. But it's France and Ireland at Stade de France.
Woo!
This is a cracker. And the reason they're doing it on the Thursday, I understand, is there's some sort of cold, wintry thing happening on the Friday night that's taking up a bit of oxygen somewhere. What do they call it? Oh, yeah, the Winter Olympics. So I think that's got a opening ceremony in the Friday. So the French, who play a lot of their rugby on Thursday night anyway in the lower divisions, they're going, oh, well, we'll put it on Thursday night. No problem. So France, Ireland, Carl Dixon's in the middle. Our very own Gussie Gardner and Geordie Way are on the flags. Ian Tempest is the TMO, and Richard Kelly from New Zealand is the foul play review officer. So Gus, Geordie, Brett Cronin, and Nick Berry all headed off last week because they'd have a little gather beforehand just to get their alignment right. So that's happened. So good Anzac presence in that one. Who's your tip for France and Ireland in Paris?
France.
Candace?
Definitely France because of how Ireland's players are all getting off. Good old Bondiaki and every player that I know is all not
I'm with you. So that's a hat trick. So Allez les Bleus, I think, and Dupont is back. They've got a few injuries and selection issues, France. How unusual, but I still think they'll win. All right. Italy, Scotland. go the blue team. So I don't know who's going to wear what for this one. Someone will be in purple. Someone will be in, lime green. Who knows?
The Italians still have a white alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so do the Scots. So I don't know. They'll work it out.
We'll wear their like navy purple one.
Yeah, they won't work with blue though. Yeah, tricky. Stadio Olimpico, which can only be in Rome, right? So that is on Saturday. Ben O'Keefe is in the middle for that. James Dolman is on one flag. Katsuki Furuse. Now, I have it on good authority. He's the rising star of Japanese refereeing, and so it's good to see him in the mix here.
Yay.
Richard Kelly flips from Paris to Rome, from foul play to TMO, and then Marius of the Van der Westhuizen species is the foul play review officer there. So Italy, Scotland in Rome. Who are you tipping?
Ooh,
Scotland.
Italy. I think Scotland will come through, but Finn Russell's been a bit off. So, the Italians, you just never know. They've got a couple of injury outs. I think Caputo's out. So I think that'll probably tip it in Scotland's favour. But it should be a cracking match. I haven't seen the Italian team in full. Hopefully Louis Liner's getting a gig. So it'd be good to see him running around.
Yep.
Yeah, good. He's a good football player. I really like him. Not surprisingly, he's a smart footballer. All right, so the final match of the weekend is between England and Wales at Twickenham. Oh. And I think we might need to get the cricket scorers in for this one.
Wins.
I'm going to toss the coin. Yes, England wins.
Heads, England wins. Tails, England wins. Yes, I think England will win this by a long way.
And who has this one, Rob?
They're looking good. Pierre Brousset, our very own French referee. Nick Berry's on the flag. Morne Ferreira from South Africa is on the other flag, so we've seen him a bit in the sevens. Tual Trainini is in the TMO box, and Brett Cronin is foul play review officer. So there you have it. That's the Six Nations for this weekend, and it goes straight into next weekend. There's no gap. So we'll talk about next weekend next week. So Six Nations, here we come. Ladies and gentlemen,
Woo!
May the best team win, and whistle well
and
to all the match officials.
What if Spoon?
I tell you what, though, what an upset that would be if they did win. My goodness, can you imagine?
Yeah, can I say, I'd like to see it.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. That would be
all
crazy.
Right, so up front, who are we tipping for the Six Nations? Who's going to win it?
France.
England.
I'm on France. I think England will be second.
Well, we have our bets in, everyone. Thank you all for listening to the Play On Pod.
Thank you. Great podcast, people.
Welcome back, Pearcey. Great to see you, mate.
Likewise, guys. Thanks very much. Rob, we're still pretty shit, but Candace, you were fantastic.
But the good news is you can watch us being shit now on YouTube. So hop onto YouTube and you can see us in all our finery. Yeah. You can see my hair and makeup. You can see Pearcey's hair. You can see Candace in her fashionista. Yeah.
I work in fashion, so I just wear my basic tops.
So if you want to see what's happening,
we're on YouTube, and give us a like and follow. Thanks all for listening. See you later.